For me, it wasn't necessarily the food to begin with. It was really the magic at the table, the Sunday table, that I responded to when I was a kid. In the end of the day, I mean, who doesn't love a biscuit? Right. You don't have to be Southern to love a biscuit. You know, you can go to Portland, Oregon, and there are some really great, freaking good biscuits. So that's kind of become my thing, and there's always a story behind it. Coming together at the table was a value that was instilled in me, and I think it's the most powerful thing that we can do in no matter where we are on this planet. So that always, where I began on the farm, no matter if I'm in my space in New York City or in Atlanta or wherever, that always stays with me. I value that greatly. It's just, the table is just in different spots. For me, Southern food has always been a part of my DNA, and I have lived more than 35 years in the American South, and just love the food and the culture there, and that's how I kind of gravitated toward working with the Southern food writing community and being a part of the Southern Foodways, and making some really good biscuits, enjoying a lot of them.
Yes. How are you keeping the past but also modernizing it to things you're doing today?
Well, I think you know, most home cooks have 3 or 4 recipes that they feel really good about, and then we're kind of stuck in a rut in terms of how we see certain foods are eaten. And I take that on as a challenge. I'm not a professionally trained chef. I have been fortunate enough for the past 16, 17 years to be in the kitchen with some of the best chefs in the world, names that we love and have their cookbooks and everything. And I always say that I didn't go to culinary school, but or I went to culinary school, I just didn't have to pay tuition. Yeah. And I messed that joke up. But it's true, and there's a lot to be said for that, is taking the techniques but bringing it back into the kitchen. And I think helping everyday people to just branch out a little bit with what they cook is keeping the kitchen alive. It's keeping our families alive. And one of the great ways of doing that is by taking ingredients that are popular today and imbuing them into recipes that are familiar. So for example, these biscuits traditionally would be made with a heavy cream or a buttermilk. You're gonna have to tell me what you think about these. But they're made with Greek yogurt. And almost every refrigerator in America has Greek yogurt in it now.
True.
And they're pretty good, aren't they? But that's a way of taking an old school recipe and updating it where people are like, wow, oh my gosh, I don't have buttermilk in my refrigerator. I don't typically have heavy cream unless it's a special holiday, but I always have Greek yogurt. And so I think about that in all of the recipes that I create, whether it's for Better Homes and Gardens or for the kitchen or whatever. It's helping people to refresh familiar dishes, but modernizing, using modern ingredients. Good. She can't talk, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good sign.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us and Cooks Who Care. I mean, we're really trying to relate stories to one another, and I love the story of our history and our past and how that's such as influential, not just like being like a top chef, but the recipes we learn from each other and our families, which I think a lot of us have a disconnect from. And so rejuvenating that energy and finding a way to make the past still continue to live, I think is really important.
Yeah, I think it's important to tell story, and it's actually important to look in each other's eyes and kind of hear each other, especially today. And the way that I know how to do that is through food.